How do you avoid a toxic Thanksgiving? Well, if you're an empath, if you're highly sensitive, it's not so easy. Or is it? In today's spiritual lesson, I'm going to share with you the secret to detoxifying Thanksgiving. This is the same technique that I use and I've taught others to use. To fall in love, to find one thing you completely adore and accept about each person who crosses your path, whether or not they're the biggest jerk in the world or easily lovable. Hi, I'm T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium, and I train old souls, empaths, and highly sensitive people in the language of spirit. The language of spirit is the psychic and the healing arts. I use a technique called Stoic Mediumship Training to help you create tangible, real-world, displayable skills that you can access on command. If you're new here, welcome. We created this channel to help you find spiritual solutions to life problems, and by so doing, become unstoppable and live a thriving life. Does that feel right? Does it ring true? If so, consider subscribing to our channel. Join our YouTube community of like minds and kindred spirits. And together, we will find spiritual solutions to those problems and thrive on parallel paths to perfection. Again, welcome. Today's spiritual lesson is part 4 of our 4-part series on a 2020 holiday survival guide for empaths, or empath protection. To give you a quick recap, in part 1, we had you do the journaling to recreate the scripts, the stories of your past holidays. In part 2, we had you look at how your thoughts beget your thinking and your emotions to create your experience or your reality. In part 3, we had you start the process of learning how to disarm those originating thoughts, most of which were unconsciously created, that send you down the bunny hole of upset and fatigue. And today in part 4, we're going to give you an opportunity to avoid a toxic Thanksgiving by mentally rehearsing exactly what you want Thanksgiving to be like. You know, all of the most highly paid, most skilled people in the world rehearse. They practice. They go through their mind and they know exactly how to handle each and every circumstance before it happens because they've gone through it many times in their head prior to the actual event. The most highly trained and skilled people know that they will regress to their level of training when the shit hits the fan, when things go sideways, when things don't go according to plan. And if you know anything about life, the plan goes out the window the moment you make contact with the enemy. In this case, the enemy could be someone at your Thanksgiving celebration. Even over Zoom, their toxic experience and their toxic avenger mode will affect people that they are connected with. But you have a choice. And today I'm going to show you how to allow yourself to activate that choice and be given by your spirit self rather than your physical self. There are 3 parts to this dress rehearsal, if you will. And this dress rehearsal allows you to prepare for the worst and while you expect the best. So the first part is to set your intention. And we want you to set your intention from a spiritual perspective, a spiritual context, not a physical one. We call this your spirit's intent. Another way to look at it is you are an actor in a play. What's your character's motivation? What's the context for your actions? We want you to create this from a spiritual context, from within the eye of the storm, not from what history says will most likely happen. A couple of places to look for a spiritual intent, or your spirit's intent. Radical gratitude, extreme detachment, unrelenting compassion, saintly forgiveness. Or you can fill in the blank with whatever rings true, whatever feels right for you. But standing in Spirit's intent allows you to do the next part magnificently, so you're prepared for game day, for opening day of Thanksgiving 2020. Part 2 of this formula is to do mental rehearsal. Go through in your mind's eye, rehearse your lines, practice what you're going to say. If this, then what? If that, what happens? Did you know that Sally was pregnant? What are you going to respond? Oh, you're wearing that? Ooh, how are you going to respond to that? What did you do to your hair? You got fired again? Did you meet Harry's new girlfriend? Or it could be the pre-game kitchen battle about how do you do the gravy or the dressing or not having enough potatoes. That's what we uncovered in part 1. All of those stories, that script, if you will. Now you're going to go through that script, all those memories, and you're going to mentally rehearse how you are going to respond from within your spiritual context, within your Spirit's intent, to each of those circumstances, each of those scenarios. And you're going to trust yourself to come from a spiritual context, your greater commitment of who you are in this world, as you interact with this cast of characters at your 2020 Thanksgiving celebration. And for this third part of our practice, our mental rehearsal, our preparation for game day, I've already mentioned it, that no plan ever survives contact with the enemy. So we have to be prepared to improvise. Something happens not quite according to plan. How do you handle it? For me, what I've found is keeping a touchstone or a talisman that reminds me of my Spirit's intent. It could be something I carry in my pocket. It could be something I write on the palm of my hand. But I have something that when I start to go down the bunny trail, when I start to get triggered, when I start to become emotionally disconnected from my spiritual intent, I have a physical three-dimensional reminder of that spiritual intent. It could be a necklace that you wear. If you have a partner, it could be your partner saying a safe word. Whatever it is, have a plan in place for what happens when things go sideways, to allow you to remember your Spirit's intent for surviving this game day. And if you do all of these things, the beautiful thing is Thanksgiving will still be as toxic as ever, but you won't absorb the toxin. You see, that's the thing about being in the eye of the storm. The chaos still remains. We just don't get sucked into the chaos. We are within our spiritual sphere of harmony, watching the show given by our Spirit's intent, allowing ourselves to not drink the Kool-Aid. That's the choice. That's the power. That's the spiritual solution. To be given by Spirit's intent rather than your instinct to survive. And what you'll find is if you don't drink the Kool-Aid, if you don't ingest the toxins, you're not fatigued, you're not tired, you're not upset. You sit back smiling as the script unfolds, as a detached observer rather than a player in a divine comedy. Another way to look at this is developing 360-degree spiritual awareness inside a spiritual intent created by you, fulfilled and projected by you, the eye of the storm, where you're kind of this cloud of harmony, this space of harmony, where you're unmessable with, powerful, in charge of the only thing you can control, which is your reactions and responses to the world. Safe travels during your holidays if you're traveling. If you found this spiritual lesson beneficial, give us a thumbs up. Let other empaths know that you found this holiday survival guide useful. It also lets Google know that you found it useful. And it allows me to know that I'm sharing with you information that allows you to find spiritual solutions for your life's problems. Please, if you have other communities of empaths and highly sensitive people, share this video in that community. Allow them to see for themselves whether or not this makes sense, if it would work for them. Most importantly of all, I want to thank you for being here, for using your time to make the world a better place. You see, the whole point of spiritual solutions is to have you given by your intuitive knowing rather than your instinct to survive. And survival is essential, but spirituality is sustainable. If this rings true, consider joining our YouTube community of like minds and kindred spirits. You can subscribe below by hitting the button or the link. And welcome to the family. The last thing for me to do is to invite you to join us for a live spiritualist church service via Zoom. We host them every Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. To get your invite, go to spirit360.org, click the little button that says Get Your Invite, complete the form, agree not to be a jerk, and we will meet you in Zoom. The benefit of meeting you during Zoom is I get more of a personal connection with you, and I offer you a psychic reading from one of our spirit guides and teachers. And I will wrap up with this one koan that's had me fascinated for this last 6 months or a year or so. And that koan is simply this: spiritual is as spiritual does.